welcome back to the Cities of Charlotte. All stay safe and well. Let's look back. Let's relive. My heart couldn't probably take too much more of this yesterday. I was a nervous wreck, certainly for that second half of the game. And yes, the inevitable happened, didn't it? Of course, it ended Arsenal 1, City 1. Match day 5 of the season 2025-26 Premier League, yes. And we're going to do the stats first again this time because I just don't believe this is Manchester City I'm watching at the moment, or Pep's Manchester City, or even Pellegrini's, or even Mancini's Manchester City. Mark Hughes, I don't know. Anyway, answers on a postcard for that one. Yeah, the headline, yeah, Pep's bus gets a flap. Yeah, simple as that. It's, we did park the bus, but Arsenal have no excuses, do they? I don't know what they're whinging about time wasting. They're the masters of the dark arts, of course they are. So it's quite funny to see them getting all upset and things. But yes, common sense and hypocrites, words like that don't or do come into it, depending which angle you're looking at. So we'll have a look back at the game, have a look at how we did. Check out my player rating show, guys, a bit more detail on the players. This is generally a few comments on the players when they should have done better or not done better, etc. But yeah, check out the player ratings. Please, guys, if you are new to the channel, push that like button, hit that like button, that's wonderful. Press the subscribe button if you've not already done so. Yeah, and if you can give us any hype points, so you have hype points now on YouTube, which helps all the algorithms and all this sort of thing, so it'll help me out as well. If you could push those buttons, that'd be absolutely fantastic, guys. And there are other ways of supporting this channel if you like the content, but we'll talk about that before we go, if you can hang on later on for a minute or two. Right, let's have a look at the teams yesterday. Arsenal, a sort of 4-1-2-3, a bit careful, Arteta, in that first half, wasn't he? He sort of let fly in the second half, and he got his reward eventually, although as an Arsenal fan, yeah, it was, yeah, you'd take that, wouldn't you? But I think before the game, they would have been disappointed, as vice versa for us, I suppose. Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Marino, Rice, Madueke, Gyökeres, Trossard. So that's our 11 on. What worry about the subs? I struggled over the first team, didn't I? City, yes, of course, unchanged again, as I sort of thought would happen. If you checked out my preview of the match. So we've got Donnarumma, Kusanov, Diaz, Gvardiol, O'Reilly, Rodri, Foden, Reinders, Bernardo, Haaland and Doku. On the bench, who I expect most of these to play against Huddersfield, the next game coming up. Yeah, I've got a preview out for that, guys, as well, so you want to check that out after you've watched this. Trafford, Stones, Aki, Nico, Gonzalez, Savi, Nunez, Bob, Mukasa and Lewis. Right, first, those odd stats that I don't believe are Manchester City, in fairness. The shots wasn't too bad. 12 for Arsenal, 3 on target. 5 for City, 3 on target. Now, that's okay. That's doable in a Pep team where it's a bit of a cagey game. We had 32% possession. Now, that's shocking. That's absolutely shocking. We'd only made 295 passes in the game. 581 for Arsenal. Pass accuracy, absolutely the worst I've ever seen. The worst I've ever seen. I mean, I thought it was bad against United. It's getting worse. 75% pass accuracy from City. Arsenal's press was fairly good, but we did have a little bit of time to sort of make a better effort. I thought of that. Arsenal's was 88%. Now, even in the last season, that would have been poor for City. Just shocking. Fouls 11 and 10, which you'd expect. A bit feisty. They like to lead the feet in, and we sort of go along with that and try and get our little way as well, don't we? Yellow's 1 for them, 2 for us, of course. We'll always get more punished than they will. Corners 11 for them, and yeah, I was quite not impressed. I was quite happy that we did okay from the corners. Donnarumma flapped at a few, didn't he? But yeah, Arsenal, I mean, they're supposed to be the masters of corner taking. They only seem to have one idea: stick 4 guys at the back or beyond the back post and go from there. It was just, yeah, I wasn't overly. Thankfully, as I say, I was worried about the set pieces, and of course, it wasn't any of those that outdone us in the end. On to the game itself, yes, after some dodgy stats, as I said, I just don't believe those stats are Manchester City. There's some other team, I'd believe it. 4 minutes, Trossard makes a run down the left before being eased to the ground, wasn't he, with a shrug Just a shrug by Kusanov. He's a star into that guy. I hope he's not too badly injured. 9 minutes though, we're up. A long way to go. A long way to defend this, although we did have chances to go 2 or 3 up, didn't we, at stages. Ireland was, of course, surrounded in the middle of the pitch by Arsenal players. About 15 yards inside our own half, and he slipped a pass beautifully to Reinders, who set off. And yeah, I mean, even though Ireland must have been about 5 or 10 yards behind everything, even the Arsenal players, he ploughed forward, didn't he? And of course, Reinders had the simple task of a nice little touch to his right. The Arsenal defence were all over the place. This greatest defence in the world, apparently. And yeah, Haaland had put the boosters on. And took it beautifully, didn't he? Right into that far corner. I don't rate Raya as a keeper. I don't think Arsenal do. I think they'd rather have someone else. But yeah, he beat David Raya. A great finish from 10 yards out into the far corner. And we're 1-0 up. And we're pretty happy at that stage. 16 minutes, Kusanov needs a little bit of treatment. As an Arsenal player stood on his foot. Deliberate? Well, you decide. It's Arsenal. Possibly. 20 minutes, a Reinders low shot from distance. He should have done a little bit better. Of course, he's saved by Raya. He just needed to be a little bit better with that. Some good approach work from City as well. 22 minutes, Gyökeres appears, though, but our bruised right back, of course, Kusanov, shows excellent positioning yet again and great speed to beat him to the ball and clear it. 24 minutes, Reinders stays down after a challenge from Timber, who then followed through into the back of Reinders' foot. Yeah, it used to be dirty Leeds, didn't it, in the old days, if you're old like me. Now, I think we can say dirty Arsenal, can't we? I think that seems appropriate. They might not like it, but it's the truth. 36 minutes, Bernardo booked for a late tackle on Gabriel. Okay, we have our own dark hearts as well, but it's Burnley. What do you expect? They can give it, though, and they can't really take it, though, can they? They don't like it up them, do they, the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal players? They don't like it when they get it back. 38 minutes, Doku leads a 3-on-3 break. Again, from a long pump forward. He gets past a couple of defenders and plays the ball back to Rodri, but sadly, Rodri's not got his Istanbul aim in, and it flies into the third tier. I think it was that high. It certainly went well over anyway. 44 minutes, Calafiori volleys one over for them. We get 4 minutes extra time. Madueke, and we're not really in it the last 5 minutes. We were praying for that half-time whistle. Madueke whacks an early shot that Donnarumma beats away at the near post. So half-time, I did think at the ground, this isn't hindsight, I thought we're not going to survive. I knew they had a couple of players to bring on. Of course, he didn't they? Come on at half-time. Yep, Saka and Easy or Ezzy, whatever we call him, Ezzy Good. Yeah, so I just couldn't see. We needed a second. We were desperate to get a second. I didn't even at 1-0 up think we were going to win this. We made a bloody good go of it, didn't we? But anyway, on to the second 45, of course, a forced substitution, which diminished our chances even more when Nunes, no disrespect to Nunes, but Kusanov was having a really good game and he had to go off at half-time. Hopefully he'll be okay. 48 minutes, Zubamendi shoots over from just the edge of the box. After we sort of faff about, don't get a ball clear. 50 minutes as he controls the ball in his chest and puts a half volley. It's beaten away again by Donnarumma. Thankfully, it was straight at him, so that was okay. 56 minutes, Donnarumma gets nowhere near a corner. Sometimes he did well, sometimes he didn't, leading to a mini scramble until Trossard's shot is blocked by Bernardo. 57 minutes, yeah, we break. Yes, a City transition, a City break from an Arsenal corner, and Doku runs. Had a good game, with just that final ball again, wasn't it? He ran 40 yards, put an extra flu ball through to Haaland. And yeah, his shot from 15 yards out, the shot saves, rebounds to Ezzy, who then attempts to stab the ball clear, but hits it straight at Rice, and how they got away with that. I mean, that had gone in the net if it'd been the other end, because that's a luck Arsenal have had against us sometimes, but it went over the bar. They knew absolutely nothing about it. So lucky. And I think that's as well, I've not had a chance to look back at the match highlights, and that's one where if Haaland had just looked to his right, Phil Foden was in space for a simple tap-in, it would have been 2-0. We really needed that. I'm sure Phil was a bit pissed off with that. As I say, I've not watched the highlights of that, but gutted, because it looked as though it was easiest just to pass it across to Foden. 67 minutes, Foden goes off. Nathan Aki is on as we go. Apparently a 5-4-1 according to the Guardian. I thought it was 10. I thought it was 9-9-1 or 9-2 or 9-1-1. I thought it was more like 76 minutes. Nico replaces Erling Haaland. Gonzalez, Doku's goal goes up front. Yeah, just good outlet. We don't now have Haaland to head things on, do we? That's the problem. We take the big lad off up front, and the ball's just going to keep coming back at us again, and that's what we tended to do in that second half. We were accepted that it's just going to come and come and come, and Pep City can't defend, but we did as much as we could, couldn't we? 77 minutes, Donnarumma booked for time wasting. Surprised it took that long. I mean, Ederson would have been booked after about 10 minutes if he'd done what Donnarumma did, but perhaps he gets away with it with his presence. But anyway, no surprise. The Arsenal fans obviously forget they do the same sort of thing, and Ray is one of the prime examples. He's probably the worst keeper in the world at wasting time. 82 minutes again, we miss a chance to seal the game. Doku gets a return pass on the left-hand side of the area, twists outside Gabriel, but he sort of pokes a nothing ball. I said he was just didn't know it was neither a cross, it wasn't a shot, it was just a bit of a waste. It was a tight angle, but he should have done better. We talked about that in the player ratings. Again, a missed opportunity though. 83 minutes, Gonzalez is booked for a bit of a dodgy foul on Saka. Our apologies, Arsenal. We can foul as well, like you. 87 minutes. Stones and Savvy replacing a limping O'Reilly and Jeremy Doe. Oh, didn't know O'Reilly was limping. Oh, that's great, isn't it? Fantastic. But I would have personally kept Doku on. I didn't see the point of bringing Savvy on unless he was absolutely shattered like most of them. And we got 7 hours extra. Sorry, 7 minutes. That was it. It felt like 7 hours because within 3 minutes, of course, the sucker punch, they got the goal that they probably deserved and probably was coming all half, but it's a shame it had to come in the 93rd minute. Of course, inside his own half, Eze again was involved. Saw Martinelli, pinged a sweet pass over. City defence a better line, probably could have done the offside. 5 defenders, we're not used to doing that. We don't team, but I'm sure we don't do these sort of drills in training at the Etihad. So literally the fact that we did put all these defenders on sort of made it more difficult. We kept a high line, which was ridiculous. I mean, if it's into injury time, you may as well drop back and just put bodies on the line. I don't understand why we kept a high line. So generally it was tactically, even though we survived up to the 93rd minute, just poor from City at that stage. Martinelli, of course, and Donnarumma gave him the option. Donnarumma was far enough out that Martinelli was in no two minds. He wasn't in two minds. I mean, if Donnarumma had stayed back a little bit more, of course, Martinelli would have thought, well, should I run and shoot, or he wouldn't have given. But of course, he made it easy. Donnarumma made it easy for him to get the chip option, and it just nestled into the bounce into the far corner, of course. So, but defensively, and Donnarumma were probably a little bit of fault for that, but hey, it was a hard battle, wasn't it? And I suppose you have to forgive it, but it is a bloody pain in the arse when it's so late in the game. And of course, then we came back and controlled it. Then Arsenal didn't seem to that bothered about getting a winner. I think we sort of controlled the last 4 or 5 minutes, and even got into the Arsenal that kept them pegged back, which we hadn't done for most of the game. And that was that 1-1. Before the game, yes, we would have took it all day long as the game panned out. It was a bit disappointing, but never mind. It was like a loss in the end, probably like a victory for Arsenal in the end, getting the point. Although it doesn't, of course, it keeps Arsenal 5 points now behind Liverpool. So my little sum up of this one, a point was better, as I said, than most expected. It would have been nice to hold on to the 3 points. I've got no disrespect to Pep at all with this tactic. As I said, this isn't Pep City. This isn't the Pep City of old. But if this is our new style of play, then we could pretty much be managed by any half-decent manager who could take these players, gets decent players, and gets this sort of game out of them. I don't. So we saw it in the United game where we gave up lots of possession. Of course, we've got to adapt. We've got injuries. We've got new players coming in. Of course, Pep has to adapt. But all the philosophy, perhaps the Pep ball's changed into his helper, the other Pep. Of course, he appears to be sort of taking a lot of notice of him, and it's just different. And I say no disrespect to Pep, but this isn't anything special from City at the moment. And as I said, it's probably because we have to do it. And let's forget it. Let's face it, Pep's in theory only there for another year and a bit anyway. And he's been forced into doing this, but it isn't brilliant. It isn't very clever, is it? It's what we need to do, perhaps, and perhaps things will change. But at this point in time, I'm a bit worried about this. And I, for one, will certainly fear for my health if we have to go and watch stuff like this. I was a younger man in the days of, in the old days, in the 80s and the 90s and the O's. I was a younger man. I could probably cope with it with a few beers. That helped, of course, standing on the kip-ax, shivering with a pint pot in my hand, in the old late 70s and 80s when we'd gone to pot. But into the 90s, of course. But I'm sorry, I'm too old to be doing that now. It'll probably kill me. Simple as that. If this continues week in, week out. Anyway, we'll see. On to Huddersfield. I expect loads of changes for that one. So please check out my Huddersfield preview if you get a chance. Pep said, hats off to the team for their resilience. We played against United, then in the Champions League on Thursday, and now today against an opponent who's so powerful in all aspects. It's so difficult when you're not effective in the high pressing or in the build-up. I think the result is it's a little bit, we were close. But in general, Arsenal were better. The mindset has to be strong, but as we have a lot of fatigue and injured players, many things happen. We try not to be like this 5-4-1 formation, but when the opponent is better and we defend deeper, we have early so we can use a counter-attack, yes, but our intention is not to play like this. It's impossible to always dominate the ball. You have to try to adjust depending on the game. Yeah, was it not last year, not the 5-1 thrashing. I always remember the 3-1 game. I think KDB scored that goal and stuff, and I always remember the press of Arsenal was superb and we were struggling, and all of a sudden the tactics changed and we started doing what we did yesterday. But Ederson's releasing the ball distance was wonders because he's very good at it. He could find players, etc. It's just long punts generally from defenders, from all players. As I say, the clearance column on our stats is just ever increasing game by game. We're just whacking it, which is fine. I mean, we want that, but we also want a little bit of the style of the skill. But as Pep said there, he's having to adapt, I suppose, and we're going to have to perhaps get on with this. And it gets us results in the mid-term or short-term, fair enough. Mid-term might be different, long-term might be different. But if it works at the moment with all the problems we've got on and off the pitch with players' injuries, etc., then fair enough. Anyway, we sit ninth now. Arsenal are second, as I said, 5 points behind Liverpool after just 5 games. So Liverpool will be cock-a-hoop at the moment, although they've not been devastating themselves, have they? My man of the match, it was hard, really. I gave it Kusanov, basically, for his first half performance. I think I mentioned Doku in the player ratings as well. But I've sort of gone for Kusanov now. OneFootball.com gave it Doku with an 8.5 rating. Goal.com gave it both Doku and Haaland with an 8 rating. The media headlines, of course, mainly Arsenal orientated. The Guardian said back page Ed Aarons. Pep parks the bus. Guardiola defends tactics against better Arsenal. Inside David Heitner, Martinelli breaks City's resistance to grab late point for Arsenal. In the Express, the back page, John Cross, rearguard action. Inside John Cross, a smart finish saves Mikel. At the Mirror back page, John Cross, fire in the Nelly. See what he did there. Inside John Cross, absolutely gabulous. Yeah, so John Cross is struggling there, I think. Our local paper, the Manchester Evening News, the back page, oh so close. Inside Simon Bukowski, Blues belief bolstered despite late blow, and Emirates all fired up over Rodri presence. Yes, obviously they've got a bit of bad blood with old Rodri, didn't we? Then again, we didn't hear them sing it till about the 93rd minute, so they weren't that fired up, were they, as far as that's concerned? But I only heard us, but obviously that's where I am, I suppose. The printed media man of the matches, yeah, the 6, 8 out of 10s from Simon Bukowski, his Manchester Evening News rating. Donna Kusanov, Diaz, O'Reilly, Doku and Haaland. Ed Aarons also gave out 3 8s out of 10, Gvardiol, Rodri and Doku. So there you go, guys. That's the facts and stats and story of the game. Let me know your thoughts on it. I say we was Was it as bad watching at home as it was? But I always, if it's a game like that, I always prefer to be there. If I've been watching that at home, I would have been roaming around, sitting on the edge of my chair, falling off, doing various things. I couldn't have coped. I just would have been so stressed out. If I'm there physically, which I was, it's a lot better watching it. I don't know if you're the same guys when you watch City, but I can cope. I can cope if I'm there. Whether we get beat, lose, draw, whatever, I can always cope if I'm at the match. It's always harder when you watch away, isn't it? And certainly you fans who are based outside of the UK, I appreciate what it's like. So certainly watching City, that's for sure, in this sort of frame of mind. Anyway. There you go, guys. So as I said, check out my player ratings. That's out now. Also, the preview of the Huddersfield game's out now as well, guys. And of course, on the day of the Huddersfield game, there'll be a 2025-26 special. I'm doing it all season where I just look back at the equivalent match day. So yes, of course, match day coming up is City versus Burnley. So I'll look back at match day 6 in the past and I think it's looking well back on this one. So we'll look at a match day 6 with City and Burnley in the past. So we've had a little bit of history, a little bit of entertainment on our wonderful City history, of course. So check those out, guys. Please, hope you enjoy the content. Want to contact me, do so through the comments below, or you can just through my various socials, or you just want to help and do like the channel, do like the content, want to help support the channel. There are different ways of doing that as well, but to find out how, if you just stick with me for another minute or two, that will be fantastic. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for that, guys. Hope you enjoyed the feature anyway, and please, if you can, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, that'd be wonderful. And if you're not already a subscriber, it'd be great if you could subscribe. It's absolutely free. Also, check out all my social media links. They'll be in the description and comments below if you want to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. We can chat on there and do all things City, of course. Also, if you're into film and TV, don't forget a lot of this channel is film and TV stuff. I love me film and TV like I do City. So if you're into that, have a look. Or even someone who might not be that bothered about the football but likes film and TV, give them a kick in my direction. I'll be very grateful. And special thanks as ever to supporters of the channel. McAtee, they've got a little eBay shop selling film and TV memorabilia mainly, including books, magazines, posters, lots of posters, and they do have some City stuff as well that they've purloined off me over time, so there'll be a few bits and pieces, probably more going on as well. So have a look at McAtee on eBay. And yes, if you do go onto eBay, and if you're a member, we do have memberships, 99p a month. You get early access to all my vlogs, so as soon as I do them, you get them. Sometimes it could be months before they're published generally, so a lot of the history stuff, so you have access. The membership gives you access to that. It gives you 10% extra off at McAtee if you want to buy any of that memorabilia. That's all that you can actually gain that from being a member. And support the channel. That's a great way of supporting the channel, of course, like watching the ads on the original thing that you've seen now, my original feature. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, also, before we go, podcasts. If you like your podcasts, I do a podcast with Mike Long in South Korea. It's called Bolt from the Blue, in our 8th season. Yeah, we've had some good fun on there. We're trying to have a bit of humour, generally look at City's games as and when we play them, have a look back. So please check out that. It's on Soundcloud, Spotify, all good places you get your podcasts from. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed everything about this feature, and you didn't mind me asking you about this at the end. And please, all I ever ask for you is to stay safe, everyone, especially you Blues.